Hello and welcome to another movie review from New Catholic Generation. I'm Ned from Parables of the Film Industry. This is Tatiana from Surrender the Brownies blog. And that's Marc, not David or Renee. And I'm kidding, he's awesome. And then we also have Joe. I can't believe I keep forgetting your freaking YouTube. The Catholic Apologist.
The Catholic Apologist.
There we go. I'm only friends with him, guys.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Look, I'm new at this, okay? Calm down. All right, so...
This video is full of surprises.
We have just seen The Star. It is an animated film about the birth of Christ, and the story is basically from the viewpoint of the animals. And it was directed by Timothy Reckart, who actually your family is friends with him, correct?
Yes, we go to their Christmas party every year.
That's actually pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Well, you guys know the Christmas story, but obviously you don't know what the animals are up to during the Christmas story. So basically, the story is about a donkey named Bo, also Boaz, and basically he feels like he has like this great destiny, set forth for him, especially when the star of Bethlehem shows up, and then he goes on this huge adventure with this dove named Dave, who I'm very disappointed was not the Holy Spirit, and
I know where you live.
I'm kidding, guys, by the way, and along with a sheep.
Ruth.
Named Ruth.
Ruth and Boaz. It's
Ruth
like the
and
Bible
Boaz.
thing. I know you're a Catholic, but you should know at least a little bit of the Bible.
No, I was just dumbfounded by that joke. But going ahead and starting at this end, Joe, what did you think?
Well, it was fine. It was fine. And you know how somebody says like it's fine, and like some of it's like fine, but some of it's like not exactly fine. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like me feeling this movie. I'm just like, it wasn't bad. I wasn't a fan. And it's just
more just a meh kind of thing.
I don't know. Like it had like really good parts, but it wasn't. I don't know. I look forward to talking about it, I guess.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was adorable.
You liked everything that we've done so far that we've had you in.
So
but you're being honest, so that's what's
it's adorable. It was made for little kids, and it had some themes that everyone could get behind. It wasn't offensive.
God.
And there were some parts where I didn't like laugh out loud, but I did chuckle. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was harmless.
Kind of going off of what he said, same basic idea. It wasn't a perfect movie. I don't think it's ever going to be a timeless holiday classic.
Nah.
But it was definitely a good movie for its target audience, and it set out what it accomplished to do, more or less.
I would definitely agree. I mean, you guys saw my reaction in the trailer reaction, and I honestly thought it was going to be a huge, giant piece of garbage.
As a film critic, what do you think?
It looks stupid.
And freaking hell, I liked it.
He has not told us what his opinion of this movie was, and we all kind of guessed that he liked it because of that, but that's the first time he said that.
I didn't want to like it. I tried so hard not to like it, but I kept laughing.
Because it was so adorable.
It was so adorable. Honestly, the opening when Mary sees the angel for the first time, she's trying to feed this little mouse, and the mouse takes like this piece of bread, and then Mary's talking to the angel, and as soon as the angel leaves, the mouse is just like looking at the piece of bread like,
what was this latest?
It almost looked like the piece of bread was like burnt to a crisp or something. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, I literally just like laughed at it. I'm like, dang it, I'm going to like this movie, aren't I?
And Mary was so cute.
Mary was adorable.
Like little freckles on her nose and big, beautiful eyes. And I just wanted to squeeze her. She's adorable.
But yeah, I enjoyed the movie as much as I'm disappointed about enjoying it. I did. I swear to God, if Justice League is not as good as this movie, I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed.
I think this movie, like for the target audience it was going for being for kids, I think it was a good movie.
I agree.
There were a lot of things that I think would make it easier for kids, I guess, to get like the general idea of the movie. And I mean, at the end of the credits, they put in there like, oh, we took license with the story, but we tried to stay true to like certain elements of the story. So I mean, I think that's even the producers of the film saying, like, this isn't like the actual Christmas story, and like there needs to be more than just this movie. Like you can't base your entire knowledge of the Christmas story on this movie. But that's not the point of the movie. The point, it makes it easier for. I mean, I can see how like kids would, like this, and it was good for them. I guess the reason I'm personally not a fan, it's not like I have a personal problem with the movie, and there was nothing like wrong with it or anything like that. But I guess for me, I think there is a simple beauty to Portray, which was not emphasized as much. There was a lot of comedic relief that was, again, nothing against it. There was comedic relief that was in there that was funny. There were a lot of, trying to be like the animals being heroic to try to stop the hunter from coming and getting, Jesus and whatever. Okay. It was, and it's engaging for kids. And that was a great thing. Again, just personally, like, I know you can't get super theological. You can't get super complicated. These are kids, they're going to be watching this. I do still think that there's a simple beauty that can be portrayed that at certain points I think we missed, like like different opportunities were missed and different ways could have been emphasized more for that.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought it was an incredibly beautiful movie. I don't know what you're talking about. We're not seeing eye to eye here.
Something that I was actually really impressed by was I'm not a huge fan of CGI animated kids movies nowadays. I prefer like the more like hand-drawn kind of stuff. But honestly, for the movie that was, I thought it was actually pretty well made and very beautiful in some regards.
And that was something I was worried about during the trailer reaction, that it looked a little cheap. But no, it looked beautiful. Some of the landscapes, I could save those on my web browser.
But see, what I think you're talking about, like a little bit more beauty of the production. And the production, it was well made. Like I can totally get behind that. I would just say, like, as far as like, and there weren't a lot of like really super big things, but a bunch of different points in the actual plot of things that you could have been emphasized more to emphasize. I don't know, because like sometimes even during the song, when I think the most I got to that point was at the Nativity, and they were playing, I think, Silent Night. I'm just a sucker for Silent Night anyway.
The music was great in this movie.
So like, and also they opened up with pentatonics. I was just like really caught off guard by that. I was like, oh, good for you.
That was cool.
That was great. I think at the point of the Nativity, I got a little bit of that. I just wish there could have been a few other points. I know there were kind of some, and I'm not saying it was completely devoid of beauty, but I felt like there were a few points in there that could have been emphasized more that would have been like really great to.
I think maybe like one of the points though is that this story has been told over and over and over and over again. So it would be difficult to really like try and like rehash like some of those moments that were made greater in like other movies. So I think like something that I do kind of appreciate is that even though the Holy Family is definitely the focus in many regards, it's not really their journey and their story, quote unquote. It's the animal's story, and it's like what they're kind of like going through and all that kind of stuff.
For that reason, piggybacking there, I kind of got this idea while I was watching of just the Communion of Saints. Very much, Joseph and Mary were portrayed in a way that kids could feel comfortable approaching them. Mary was very warm, very maternal, very loving, and then Beau, of course, is standing in for the child in the play. He's the point of view character. Joseph is very protective of Mary, very caring, and as a little kid, that's awesome. Because it's one thing to have a really pretty white plaster statue of Mary in your house and be like, oh, child, just talk to Mary when you're sad. She'll take care of you. It's another thing to have an image of Mary, a portrayal of Mary like there is in The Star, where she's loving and she wants to take care of people. She wants to make sure everybody's okay, nobody's in pain. And it very much portrays her as the mother that someone can run to if they're feeling upset, which is a good thing for kids to have.
Absolutely.
The story opens up, like, kind of with, the little rat. It's not an actual rat.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it said. The
I
the
called it
dog
a
was
mouse.
talking about, oh, a little rat. Oh, I'm not a rat. I'm a whatever. The little
rodent.
rat, the little rodent. It opened up with it kind of like crawling it, like with it, and then it got into the house where Mary was, and then the Annunciation happened. Did that feel kind of like a little bit like sudden to you? Like how it just kind of like it felt like it kind of jerked me into that.
It's like, oh, here's the story.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of like right off the bat, a point where the Annunciation was setting up the story, but the Annunciation in and of itself is something that's just like really incredible when you think about it.
This
And
is
stuff
also
that
a
could
movie.
that I felt could have been like a really beautiful chance, but at the same time, like I guess with the story plot, I'm not sure if it would have worked out, but I also did feel like it just kind of jerked you in at the very beginning.
That's fair.
If I'm to be specific about like one of the details that I've been talking about.
Okay.
A beauty that could have been emphasized more.
Sure.
Well, this is also a movie where one of the camels, voiced by Oprah Winfrey, was just like, "We're going to meet the Son of God."
I know. I don't even know what to think of her camel character.
I loved the camels.
The camels were fantastic, but they were kind of playing to the kids of like, "Oh, it's a birthday party. It's a baby shower. We're meeting the Son of God. I'll let them have this one."
Yeah, all of a sudden camels became prophets. But hey, kids movie, right?
If they're hanging out with Magi, I mean, it's entirely possible they became prophetic. 'Cause
You never know.
That's the Magi's job.
I like the movie on several different levels about the fact that these were animals that were still given animal characteristics. Like you knew that they were still animals. I mean, they didn't necessarily like learn from their mistakes. Like with the donkey trying to hit the wall every single time.
Yeah.
They were portrayed as animals that you could kind of relate to, but they were still able to just say as animals. I did like the theme. I kind of saw that of like there was a theme of constant conversions, especially with the dogs, where the last line that one of the dogs says is, "Are we good now?" And then the other dog replies with, "We have to keep trying."
Mm-hmm.
I really love that because I'm not a fan of the whole once saved, always saved.
Yeah.
We're Catholics. I don't think any of us are.
The
Yeah.
director's a Catholic, so
Yeah.
that was a good thing I know.
Yeah.
And then I like the way that the faith was portrayed in both Joseph and Mary of like, well, we have an idea of what God's plan is, and it's okay not to be fully aware of what the entire plan is, and it's okay to be scared of the plan and to recognize that it will be a hard plan, but still trying to go forward on it. And I was really a fan of that.
And I think that's like definitely like one of the strengths of the movie. It's the fact that, as I stated, this is a story that's been told over and over and over again, and I think like we needed to have, oddly enough, a different point of view. Oddly enough, it came from animals, but that's okay. And to kind of like hear like some main like big staples of our faith so simplified in a manner of speaking, especially like for kids. And I think in that regard, I think it was done very well. This is definitely a kids movie. And obviously, like, if you're an adult, I think you'll just be like, oh, yeah, I think it's, I mean, because I had, like, two brains on when I was watching this movie. I had the film critic in me, which I'm just, like, saying, it's an okay movie. It's not really, like, that great. Yes, I laughed, and yes, I had a great time and everything. But then there was also the other part of me, which I have, like...
Just went, aww.
Yes, I have lots of nieces and nephews. I have some adopted siblings. And I also went into that mindset where I'm just like, I imagined them there with me. And I was just like, you know what? If they were all here, I know we would all be having a good time watching this movie, kind of thing. One thing that actually did kind of like stand out to me in some regard was the donkey. When he tried praying, he's like, I don't know if you actually listen to donkeys, but I'm just like, that's kind of cute.
That's adorable.
That was adorable.
He folded his little hooves and tried to make it right.
Yeah.
And but too, he realized that at the end of it, it wasn't about what way he held his hooves and what words he said. It was that God was listening and he needed help, and he was helped.
Yeah, and that was really good, I think, especially like for kids, because a lot of times kids will feel like, oh, they're too small, or they're too, does God really listen, or something like that. So that, I think that was like a good way for them to, a good thing to put in the film that could be really helpful for children watching.
And it showed Joseph praying and Mary praying and characters having doubts, but characters always trusting in God, but in such a really simple and beautiful way.
Yeah.
The doubts weren't in their faith of like, is there a God and does he actually have a plan? It's, can I actually fulfill what his plan is? And that's a theme that really speaks to me.
Yeah, and I even say the part where I was pleasantly surprised at was when, right before Bo comes back, Joseph was getting upset, like, oh, what's God's plan? And like, and Mary kind of walked off, and then Bo came back and was just like nudged Joseph. It was just like, she went that way. He's just like, Mary. So Joseph went fire. Mary was sitting there on that rock, and at first when you're seeing her, it's just like, oh no, are they gonna have it like Mary's like despairing and just like saying that, oh, maybe God's plan isn't like but like it wasn't like that. It was kind of like something you were saying earlier, where she was just like, I know it's part of God's plan, but it's scary, and it's just like, yeah. Like that's a very human thing. It's just like when you aren't omnipotent and you don't understand everything that's happening, like you're gonna be scared. But the courage is not being scared. It's doing so in spite of that. So I thought that was really refreshing to be like, oh, okay, that was good.
I really like the fact that it humanized both Joseph and Mary. I don't know which one from a filmmaking standpoint was harder, because Joseph doesn't say anything in the Bible, but Mary's the mother of God. How do you make either one of them relatable?
Yeah.
Or I would say rather they added like 21st century eyes them a little bit more.
A little bit, definitely.
But I like the fact that it humanized them, which it's sometimes hard to forget, hard to remember they were human. And so they do kind of share some of our doubts, our fears, and it's nice to be reminded of that.
Final thoughts?
I'd recommend it.
I definitely recommend it too. It's not as good as movies like The Miracle Maker or even The Nativity Story.
Yeah.
But it's a fine movie to take kids to. You'll see a lot out there. I just wanted to mention this. Rude humor, there's not really much.
No.
There's one scene where a bird shakes his rump, but like you can't see
You saw that in
anything.
the trailer.
You saw that in the
that's,
trailer.
That's actually as rude as it gets, and it's not bad.
Yeah. It's definitely a very safe family movie to take your kids to, which I was very happy about, that there was none of that kind of humor in the story of our Savior's birth. So that was my main worry when I first saw the trailer. But then I'm just like, oh, okay, you're good.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely something that I think your kids would have fun watching if you have kids. And, absolutely harmless. Definitely. There's nothing wrong as far as that goes. I would say, going off of what the producer's note was at the very end, you obviously can't make this your child's entire understanding of the nativity story, but it's a good way to kind of get a feel for it. So yeah.
And stay for the credits. The credits are beautiful.
The credits were very cute.
But there is no after scene credits.
There's no after scene. It's just like illustrations of Jesus.
It was just like just illustrations of Jesus, like within the credits of like him growing up and that kind of stuff. It was adorable. All right, well, I definitely also recommend it, as much as I'm perturbed by the fact that I am recommending it.
Liking it is much better than hating it.
That's true.
Even you have to eat crow sometimes.
I do. I can't believe I'm eating my own words. I hate that sometimes. Oh, well. Look, just because I used to be goth. No. Oh, well. Well, this has been New Catholic Generation. God bless you all, guys, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Adios.